All right, all right, all right. Well, we are live. Financial Friday.
Oh
What's
yeah,
up? What's up?
always.
What's up? Yeah, find y'all on my computer screen here somewhere. Mr. J, how you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good, Pastor. I'm doing
Good.
real good.
Good. Well, listen. Welcome to Financial Fridays, and I am looking for you on my other device, which is going to pop up indirectly. You don't even know what that means, do you? Indirectly. All right. Well, while it's finding it on the device, let me just welcome everyone who's tuned in to our Financial Fridays. Financial Fridays is where we are rising from our financial slump. Yes, we are, and we are
Yeah.
thriving into financial freedom. And I'm your host, Dr. A.D. Burns, and my co-host, Brother Minister James Jones.
That
How you
that's
doing,
nice, Pastor.
Mr.
I like
J? How you doing?
that. I can only say thank you. I guess I can only say thank you.
So how's your week been?
Oh man, my week has been full of a lot of stuff. I got contractors I'm dealing with. I got tenants moving in. I got another potential tenant trying to sign up. It has been fun. It's a lot of ups and downs, but everything has been working itself out. So hopefully everything will be good. It's easy selling once everything fall in place. It's always easy selling.
Right.
It's just making them fall in place, which is always kind of hectic.
Well, that's all part of it. I don't think there's a part of life that you excel in that doesn't have those components. I think those components are part of life. Heard Bishop Apostle Ivy Hilliard talk about how the football player he playing football, and then he runs to the sideline when it's a timeout, and he run to the sideline. Oh, they been hitting me and they been pushing me, he said a football player don't do that. He doesn't run to the sideline and complain about how the other players are treating him, or how he got tackled, or how they knocked the ball out of his hand. And he said, you ask the football player why, and the football player says because that's part of the game. And so most of the time we don't understand when it comes to life that there's a lot of components to life, and it's a part of life. And so, you know, having those different challenges is a part of life, whether they're financial, whether they're with your health, whether they're with your relationships, whether they're with your career, or whether they're with your investments. Those components are a part of life. I don't know no part of life where you won't experience those. All right. You quiet like I shock you on that one.
No,
You in shock. Hello. Are you still
I
there?
don't have a good answer. I'm like, how do I comment on that? Like, I can't comment.
You
You
can
are
say
correct.
amen to it. You can say
Oh
amen
yeah, I can say man.
if that's your
Yes.
experience. Because you've been through enough things in your own life. You've been a part of the military. You've been a part of ministry. You have a family, and you have children, and you have investments. And so, in which one of those arenas do that not happen in?
No, that's what I said. I haven't been in any position where I had it smooth selling.
And that's why it's so important when we talk about really moving forth with our lives, that we suck it up, and do what's necessary to win. Winning is not us laying in the bed and confessing that we are winners, and that prosperity comes, and you can confess that in the bed. But I'm just saying, you at some point you got to get up and get with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you have to keep going. I know I push myself to go all the time, because I can't afford to get to a place where I get too down, because of all of the challenges. And so that's so important that we get to the place that we understand that that's part of life, and that at each level is a different. It's the same thing, but it's a different You know what they say, another level, another devil.
Yeah,
You
another
know,
level, another devil.
the same musician, just a different tune. You know.
Yeah. Or it could be an old song. More money, more problems.
All right. Or challenges. I like to look at them as challenges. Lady B is on with us. How you doing, Lady B? She said, "Good evening, Grinders." All
Always.
right, Doctor, Brother James. I need to hear your opening comment when you say hello, my grinders, and your little speech there. I'm in your little speech when you do your intro.
Oh yeah.
Talk to me.
Hello everyone. Good morning. Good evening to all my grinders.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it tonight.
And so tonight, what we have on our agenda for tonight, I'm still trying to find it live. Is it on the Jericho page?
I'm on Jericho. I'm on Jericho. Church I was.
You see it on there?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I'll text in.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I'm here.
You there?
I'm here to get it.
All right. Well, you don't see it. You there looking for it.
Yeah, so if anybody jump on Jericho Live, yeah, I'm on there.
Okay. And you see Rise and Thrive on there.
I
right,
did
let's go ahead and Cadillac. I don't see it on mine, but let's go ahead and Cadillac. And so we were talking in the in the pre-show, I call it, and we were talking about some interesting things that we were going to look at tonight. And so I'm gonna let you go ahead and open up, and then let's see how far we can get. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna get through it all, but let's put a dent in it and we'll pick it up.
Oh yeah, we'll for sure put a dent in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so to start, it's like all the others. We're gonna do. Is the slide deck queued in? Let me see if I got it. There we go. Hello everyone, and let's get into it with all my grinders. We talking about Financial Fridays. It's all about moving forward. So right now we finna recap what we talked about in the last 3 weeks, and then we're gonna push forward to how to make that happen in this day and age. So we're gonna get as far as we can, and we'll come back next week if time permits. Okay. First, with moving forward, we always got to know the past. The best way to move forward is to have that plan laid out, but you always want to look in the past to make sure you're moving in the right direction, or to make sure to understand that you're in the right direction. So we're going to recap on building a legacy, starting at start and small steps. And if we have time, we're going to get to how to move forward in all of this. First things first. When we talk about it, we're talking about building a legacy. So you got to have your vision. Now, if you remember when they talk about building legacy, when you switch to buying your popcorn and you switch to your hot pop, your Ovo Redenbacher, right? So instead of you buying popcorn in a bag, you now buy your regular seeds, put them in the micro, you put them in your pop maker, make yourself a popcorn, and you spritz it. Let me make sure I got it right with your butter.
All right.
By doing that, we always got to make sure. We always got to make sure that we're doing what we need to do in the best way we know how. And if you get that together, you can move forward. When it comes to vision, the best way to do a vision is to do it simply, is to write it down. So we're going to talk about building a legacy, the time management portion. You always want to make sure that you're doing what you can do. There we go. When it comes to knowledge, when it comes to vision, you want to make sure you write down your vision and make it plain. When it comes to the knowledge is based on what you're reading. So there's several books that I read that gives me knowledge. One, Holy Bible. That's a standard. If you don't know anything else, know to read your Bible. I often start with the book of Proverbs, and then I move from there. But outside of the Bible, I have a bunch of other books that I like to read. One is called Rhinoceros Success. It helps get you to where you need to be. More recently, I read this book. If everybody can see it, it's called Pathway to Possibilities. It's a book that teaches you and it gives you the ability to look at what you're doing, write it down, and then come back to it later so you can make sure that you're setting your goals up to be in line with your vision. The last one I want to talk about is The Power of Negotiation. If you don't know how to talk to yourself to improve yourself, how can you talk to other people? So you want to read The Power of Negotiation on how to talk better to other people. It will improve your language to yourself as well as that to other people.
Okay, now, I'm still trying to figure out where the popcorn and the spritz come in at.
Oh, that's about savings. So
Okay.
I actually jumped to that. So you gotta
Okay.
be mindful what you're doing.
Okay. All
Knowledge
right.
comes in, and then when you do time management, when I talk about savings, I'm gonna bring the popcorn back out.
Okay, got you. All right. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started. And so when you talk about vision, vision is a very important component because if you can't see it, you can't possess it. You could never possess what you cannot see. And I'm not talking about physically see it. I'm talking about mentally and spiritually see it. You got to see yourself at a certain place. I think it was Henry Ford that said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And so whatever you think about yourself and your abilities and what you can have and can't have, where you can go and you can't go, you're right about it. And so you have to be able to see what it is that you're trying to do, and you have to be able to see yourself where you're trying to go, and you have to be able to see yourself possessing what it is that you're trying to possess. And a lot of times I believe that people miss it because they don't understand the power of negotiation, not the power of negotiation, but the power of meditation.
Yes.
And I think about commercials. The other day, I don't know where it came from. I left the church and I ended up at Burger King and got the 2 Whoppers, Junior Whoppers for $5.
Yeah.
And as I was driving home, I realized I was influenced because I was wondering why did I end up, because I like the Whoppers. I don't think I ever had a Junior Whopper, but I was wondering why in the world did I do that? And then I realized I've been watching all of the playoff basketball games, and that commercial plays through all of the playoff basketball games. And so I'm saying that was the power of vision. They kept putting it in front of you, putting it in front of you, putting it in front of you. And then I was hungry and I was on my way home. And then I stopped in and I asked for it by name. And I'm saying, if that works for the commercials, it'll work for you. But you have to get your vision. That's why vision boards are very important. And you have to put that thing in front of you until you can see yourself where you're trying to go, see yourself possessing what it is you're trying to have, and really be able to get yourself in the place where you're not hoping and wishing that is going to happen, but that you believe deep down inside it's going to happen. We're talking about vision. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh no, vision. I'm in full agreement. There is nothing I can do without vision.
Okay.
It's just monumental, because when you going through hard times, it's that vision, and you could be like, nope, I can't do this. Nope, I can't do this. But your vision is saying, I know the plans that I have for you. There's plans of peace and not harm. It's plans to give you good tidings. And you like, are you sure? Because I'm going through some rough areas. Remember, we just talked about not too long ago, how hard is it? When do you ever have a peaceful existence whenever you're doing something, whether it's the family or your career or what you plan on doing? You will always have steps and things in which you will have to overcome, or obstacles that will be opportunities for you to show what you learned. But when you got a vision, your hope is there, because you can like, dude, I'm one step closer. I'm getting there. I'm almost there. ooh, I accomplished it. I okay, cool. So I got this done. Now I can further elevate myself to go after the next level.
Yeah.
So that's where your vision kicks in so much.
Yeah, that's major, and I think that we underestimate the power of vision. And a lot of times, I think I know that was Apostle Hilliard also who said that a lot of times people think they in faith, but they're not, and he called it reasoning on tiptoes. And so we don't have when you don't have the vision, it's difficult to have the confidence that you're going to get there. You know, for me, once I have a vision or something, it's almost real to me. You know, and I go after it. In that type of way, and I can't really say for the most part that I have never been able to reach that vision except for times when money is a factor. And so when money is a factor, then it slows down my ability to reach that vision. But I can't say that I ever got to a place where I didn't actually reach, that vision that I had for whatever. And if it's still things that's out there, there are still many components of our campus that I see that I would love to see happen in my lifetime. However, there are many different obstacles when it comes to a shared vision. In the same sense, though, I think it was also Apostle Hilliard that said that you should always have a vision or a dream that you can't pay for. And so I have a lot of those. I have several of those, and I keep them alive. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of times there are things that's within our power that we can do, but we make them, we make excuses why we're not moving towards those things, but then there are visions that's not in your power to bring to pass. And those you have to rely on God and wisdom in order to be able to navigate, and I think that might be where your knowledge part comes in that. But what's your thoughts?
I'm in agreement. I have several visions just like you that are in need of help. Like it's not a one-man job, it's a team job. And those visions are actually what's helping or pushing me to cultivate a newer mindset, where one that is more encompassing. And it's wild when you look back as how much you're transitioning to meet your vision, because I think that's part of the journey. Because God didn't give you a vision just because you can hit it in 2 days. God gave you a vision because the journey is what transitions you to be more welcoming to the vision. Because when you walk into the vision, you like, man, I made it. I know what I arrived feels like. But we don't often know the transition that we go through. Now, my transition may be a little bit more rougher than other people, but when I look back at how much I'm striving to make sure I'm hitting the marks that are set above me, and like it's transitioning me, so it's not as easy as everybody think it is. It does take some work. It does take some grinding hours. But when you start looking back and you're noticing, oh, I just don't do that no more. Okay, you cuss? Yeah, I just don't do that no more. Not because I'm better than you. It's just that I've been grinding this out for so long that I just don't do that no more. Oh, okay, so you like to fight a lot. You know what? I just don't do that no more. Why not? It's not that I don't fight. It's just that I've been doing this for so long that the likelihood of me doing that is small. Like, oh, okay, cool. You got your head on straight. Well, I don't really got my head on straight. I just know that I'm striving after this one vision that God gave me, And by striding after that one vision, it pulls everything else in line with this one vision. So even though I can't reach it right now by myself, I know that I need a team to be with me to reach that vision. But as I strive towards a vision, it pulls everything else. So imagine, to me, it's like a car towing like 5 to 20 other different items. As that truck is going in one direction, it's pulling everything else in line with that same direction. And that's how I think about my vision, because I am making those transitions. And even though I'm looking and saying, man, I got all these struggles, when outside people are looking in, they like, dude, you actually doing really good for yourself. Or you actually, no, man, no. I remember back when you was a teenager. I remember back when you was in your 20s, right? And sometimes you don't see all of the struggles that you're pulling through and all of the things that you're releasing off yourself, because you're just striving after the vision. So I am in agreement that having a vision that takes multiple people and multiple shared understandings, and it just brings you into so much closure that you're diligently striving after what God has told you. So it brings you in all of that. In all of that, it encompasses all of those good things that makes us a better person.
Yeah, the thing about it, Pastor Dwayne Freeman talked about it when he was here. He talked about environment, and I heard Apostle Hilliard talk about, having people in your life to push you, and so part of that is you get energy off of the right people being around you, and it always looks easy when a person is watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A person can look at somebody or look at something that somebody's doing, and it always looks easy that way. But the person who's grinding it out is, wouldn't say the same thing. I have people who constantly tell me, as far as how much I've been able to accomplish, and that's not top of my list. I feel like, what, I haven't, I haven't gotten to the place where I need to be. You know what I mean? In the time that I've had, but it's always looks different from somebody outside looking in. And so vision is very important. But then, when you talk about that next area, when we talk about the whole idea of knowledge, when you talked about knowledge, you had those several books that you had. And the Bible tells us in Romans 12:2, it says that we have to renew our mind. And part of the renewing the mind process is unlearning some things, but learning some other things. And I still say that the best way to renew your mind is to read. To me, reading is the best way to renew your mind. When I was growing up, when I was I think I believe I just finished high school, and I went to this Stratton and Bryan, I think it was called. It was a like this college, that specialized in computers and stuff like that. And I took this course on computers. I thought I was going to, be a, computer fixer or whatever. And they had this term called garbage in, garbage out. And so what that meant was, back then you had to use all these DOS language and things like that. You didn't have the point and click that we have now. You had to literally type where you wanted to go with the computer and tell the computer where you wanted to go. But what they were saying was the computer will only put out what you put in it. And so if you put garbage in it, it's going to give you garbage out. And so in the same way, I think our minds is like that. Our minds can only give us what we put in them. And so if we on Facebook or social media all day, if we're, watching, whatever, if we're not conscious or selective of the things that we're allowing our minds to soak up, garbage in, garbage out. And a lot of times that's going to, corrupt you know, the purity of our ability to reach our visions, because that's going to play into our doubts. That's going to play into our, you know, self-esteem, you know, different things that we're watching and things like that. And it's be just enough to cause us to be gun shy when it comes to pulling the trigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Yeah, because sometimes people don't understand that it takes work to get stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking at a TikTok video and this person says, how do I sold my own house by myself, right? And so they got this 5-point slide that happened in like 30 seconds. They don't tell you the actual work it took, the actual listing. They just be like, well, this is what I did, right? It's good for clickbait, but if you're watching it all day, you're not doing it. If I look at a bunch of dog videos and I'm like, oh, I could breed dogs. How hard could it be? Because I'm looking at a bunch of dog videos. You're not breeding the actual dog. You don't really have the experience to say, I know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. You have a bunch of stuff that you can say, but that's the reason why some of these things, you got to be able to get your hands in it. That's why having a vision, then you read the book. Now you got to start organizing. My vision say I'm supposed to do it. I read a book that this dude laid out how to do it. Mm-hmm. I didn't watch a 30-second TikTok video. I researched and studied on how to get to where I'm trying to go. Then you just start getting in motion. And that's the difference with those who are successful and those who talk like they're successful. Like there's a big difference. You can talk all day, but the guy who is successful is telling you like, hey, this is what right looks like. I done plugged the holes inside the mine. I'm not talking like I plugged the holes. I'm saying you this is what dirty mud water look like when you get done. Yeah. And I remember they was telling a story. It was an old story. It was this old miner. He was an old miner. He was down there for many years building mines, like building the mine shafts. It was a new guy who came right out of college and said, I know everything, right? And he studied a whole lot. He studied the architect, the plans. He studied the ground, soil. He studied a lot, and he knew a lot of information. So he went in the mine, and he was trying to tell the guy how all the forms and beams need to be. And the guy said, if you think that's something, then why don't you take your team and go another way? So the guy who had all the knowledge, or he had all the book knowledge, he went and he took his team and he went off and started doing his thing. The tunnel started to collapse. With all that book knowledge, he was like, well, what happened? And he said, do you see that? Yeah, that's water. And because book knowledge doesn't always tell you what experience does. Yeah. It's a lot of book knowledge, but it doesn't tell you the experience. Oftentimes I tell people the story when I took a real estate class. Mm-hmm. I'm already 10 years in real estate, and I took a real estate class. I had some instructors that was actual realtors or contractors or property managers. Mm-hmm. And when they spoke, you understood the angle in which they were speaking. And I was enthused to have people in that field teaching me. Okay. But I also had some teachers who never been in the field. And they was touching me up. They was teaching a lot of theory. Well, this should happen. And they say words like this should happen. And if you do this may happen. But they're reading a book and it says not all results will be the same. Well, with no difference, Sherlock. Everybody knew that if I build two different houses, the results are not going to be identical. Mm-hmm. But you're just reading off a book, and there was no experience coming out of that. There was no actual teaching. So when you question them, which I did, because if you're teaching it, tell me that you know what you're talking about. Right. And he was just fumbling. And I got to the point I was like, what's the point of taking this course? Because if you're going to read a book, I can read a book. Right. I came here because I want to be better at real estate. Mm-hmm. If all I got to do is buy a book, then just tell me the book. But I want to be better at real estate. And oftentimes he was relying on the book to have the answer. And in other courses, the people could actually tell me, no, in Milwaukee market, this is what you're looking for. This is how you separate the market. This is what the red zoning did to the market. And you like, now I know, right? I knew red zoning existed, but to have somebody who had that experience to teach me, this is what red zoning did to that market. okay, now I got an actual experienced person who is also knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So that's the benefit about having knowledge and experience.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, I've seen that over the 30 years that I've pastored. You know, I see, you know, young pastors or different people who come out of seminary, and you know, they're real. You know, they have a lot of information, but not the experience. And some of those things only works in theory. You know? And it's the same. You know, I got 33 years of marriage, and a lot of times I try to, you know, help people in marriage, but they don't want to receive it because they, you know, they have theories that it should be this or that, but they don't want to go with the experience. And
Yeah.
so, what we got on our lesson for today? We just chopping it up.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so back to it. If you have vision, your vision is telling you where you want to be. Your vision is giving you the eyesight where you want to be. The knowledge is backing up what you're doing. So now we're back into time management. Time management is how you direct yourself to hit those goals. And this is where the start of grinding happens. So when you tell yourself, I got a vision to be financially stable, and my vision is, and I always use cupcakes because cupcakes are an easy treat to make. I have a vision that I'm going to be a cupcake baker, and I'm going to have about 5 to 10 employees, and I will use my baking to influence the nation, right? That's your vision. This is where time management comes in, and this is where grinding comes in. So now you got to hit the trail. That means you got to learn, you're learning how to make cupcakes, but you're actually making cupcakes. You're learning how to do presentations, and then you're actually doing presentations. Time management allows you to place those things in order. And when I tell everybody, I assign time, I assign my finances, I assign my time. And those are key to making sure that you're putting all your stuff in order.
Okay.
So it's really big to assign everything. And when I say assign, I don't mean be restrictive to at 9 o'clock I'll be here, and at 9:01 I'll be here. No, you want to assign time saying for this bulk of time I'm doing this. Okay. For this bulk of time I'm doing this. Time management is really key on grinding out and making yourself more applicable to what your vision is.
All right. Well, we got a couple people tuned in there. I see Audrey tuned in. How you doing this evening, Audrey? And I see Sandra Green tuned in with us tonight. How you doing, Sandra? Yes. And so, yeah, that's very, very powerful there to know that time management is about assigning so that you can make sure that your time is just not out there where, you know, you can just do anything, you know what I mean, that you know, don't have no assigned time to it, and you just willy-nilly in it, if that makes sense. And so we already talked about the whole powerful importance of assigning, giving your money assignment, you know, giving your money assignment, and so that whatever that money is, small or great, that it has an assignment, and so it can go and it can grow. And then we talked about how important it was to make those little steps towards whatever it is that you know your vision is. And so now you're adding another piece to it, talking about the whole idea of time management. And so time management, or assigning your time, giving your time assignments, is just as important as giving your money assignment, and they'll both work hand in hand.
Yes.
All right. Now recap that pretty good.
You did recap that pretty good.
All right. Let's keep on going.
Before we move to the next one, this is where the savings come in. So 2 weeks ago, we was talking about it. Mm-hmm. So, and I want to make sure I key this in. When it talks about savings, you want to look for options to do another type of deal. So instead of buying popcorn, we're going to buy pops. And then I got the right in the video. Okay, we're going to buy regular popcorn.
They don't give us no royalties.
Oh, no. We're going is it good? It's nice, man. Okay, so instead of you buying bag popcorn, right? You buy seeds, which are cheaper, and you get more of them, and you get your spritz, right? So now you got your movie style butter, your popcorn, you're spraying everything on, and you're saving yourself money by being mindful. So that's part of the savings program, because everything goes in order. As you have a vision, your vision pushes you to get more knowledge about it. Time management pushes you to be focused on what you're doing. And in the process of being focused, you're cutting the fat. What do I need? What do I not need? And if I need it, do I need it for that price? Can I get it cheaper? It's the same thing that we do. We do it every day. This is just being more intentional about it.
Okay. All right.
It's like looking at Instagram or YouTube, or it only, if you look at a YouTube short, it's less than a minute. If you look at TikTok, it's less than a minute. But if people are not mindful, they can look at about 50 of those. And now you wasted a whole hour.
Yeah.
And they don't even know where the time went. What happened to my time? I can tell you exactly. When I walked past you, you was looking at YouTube. When I came back again, now you're looking at Instagram. Guess what? I know exactly where your time went.
Right. Yeah. Well, listen, got Lisa Gibson is tuned in tonight. How you doing, Lisa? We're talking Rise and Thrive. This is our Financial Friday. We're talking about rising from our financial slumps to thriving into our financial freedom. It's all about financial freedom. And so tonight we talked about vision, how important it is to see where we're going. And then we talked about knowledge, how important it is to renew our minds with knowledge. And we were talking about time management, how important it is to give our time an assignment, just like we give our money an assignment, so that we're not sitting around like he just talked about, watching TikTok and social media and letting all of that time go past when we could be being productive. I remember it's been years ago. I don't even remember who told me that, but somebody told me and that was before social media. And I guess I'm telling my age, huh? That was before social media. And they said that then it was watching TV. So they said, depends on what side of the TV on is who making the money. So if you watching TV, you're not making the money. The guy or whoever's on TV is making the money. And so it's the same concept. We have to be careful of how we use our time, because, tomorrow's not promised to us, and anything can happen that can shift in our life, and a lot of times we don't realize how fragile life is and how important it is to have a readiness when it comes to financially freedom. Being able to have that emergency fund, how important that is, or being able to not to be stressed when you need to do something, or if you need to buy a tire, or if you need to go somewhere, or if whatever the case may be. A lot of times, because a lot of people are so used to, going day to day and paycheck to paycheck, they don't realize that they have the wherewithal to have financial freedom. And when we have the wrong mindset, even like with tax time, in many cases, that tax money is gone just like boom, just like that. For many people, when you lived all this time without that money, you can set that money on the side and just leave it alone. And you have to retrain your mind and just keep going like you've been going, and just think about, after 5 years of putting tax money on the side and invested into something, as we talked about, whether it's a money market or, something that's not too risky, you'll be able to, look back at that thing and see that thing grow. You figure what happens with that after, 20, 30 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's so many things that we take for granted. And so being able to understand the importance of giving your time an assignment. And so that's kind of powerful. That's powerful to me as well, because I do a lot of things. And unfortunately, a lot of times for me, I feel like a fireman. I feel like, I go around putting out fires. And, a lot of time it takes me off my time, off my game with what I'm trying to get done. And, that's loaded with problematic things that need to be corrected in order to be able to go forth on that. But just the point I'm making is how important it is to assign your time, give your time an assignment.
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir. All right, let's keep Cadillacing.
Okay, the next one that we need to talk about is starting at start. Now, oftentimes, another recap that moment is that we talked about was starting.
Hold up. Did we talk about savings? We didn't talk about savings. Now, when we talk about savings, wasn't that when you was going to talk about a legacy?
That was the popcorn. So when I talk about savings is so when you put everything in perspective, when you have a vision, then you have knowledge about the vision, you have time management. Next comes savings. Savings is how you distribute your money. What are you looking for? And that's why, and you hit the nail on the head when you said everyone needs an emergency fund. So whether you make $1 million or you make $10, you need an emergency fund, because the emergency fund takes care of so many things that you don't expect. And that's why we call it an emergency fund. When you're just living your life, that's nice. But then incidences happen, situations happen, accidents happen, life happens. So having an emergency fund is crucial and critical to sustaining yourself. I mean, it's a lot further than just saying I'm saving some money. No, you need to sustain yourself, because our whole economy, most people in our economy are living at anywhere from 95 to 105 of their income. And when you start savings, now you're pushing yourself. You're making sure that the amount in which you're spending out is less than the amount that you're bringing in. And that is crucial to making sure that you have a financial understanding and you have financial privileges. And don't get me wrong, everyone wants to have financial privileges, but when you are not disciplined about your money, and you're not disciplined about your savings, and you're frivolously just spending stuff, I often equate it to having a pocket full of money and your pocket's on fire, right? Mm-hmm. If every time you get some money, you have to spend it, you just have to spend it, then you don't have discipline of your finances. And that will cause you to always be behind. When Pastor was talking about already spending your check, your tax refund check, when I tell you that is a very common thing, to already have money earmarked, already spent. You don't even know what may happen before you get your taxes back, but it's already spent in your head. And sometimes your credit cards already have that money spent. And when you get it, it's already gone. By being dedicated to savings is not just about what you're spending, but being dedicated. That means putting an assignment. I will save. By doing that, by being focused on saying, I will save, now you have a better objective to hit. I'm saving $100 every month. I'm saving $25 every month. And when I always tell people that, I don't say, don't try to save like I save. Mm-hmm. Save what will work for you. Right. Save where you start at. Mm-hmm. Those are the best tools that you can use when you're recapping what it is to build financial literacy.
Yeah, that's I heard somebody say this week, and they were talking about something that they bought, and it was kind of surprising that what they bought, it was fake versus the real thing. And then this person said this. They said, after they said, what it was, and then, realized, okay, that's fake. And this person was, very well off, and then they could tell that you were thinking that, why are you going to buy this fake thing when you could buy a real one? And then they said this before any words could come out. They said, that's how I stay rich. You know what I mean? And so any thoughts that I had or any thoughts anybody had was shut down with that, that they did not spend, even though they had the money, they did not spend the money just, you know, even though I get it, because who gonna know the difference?
Yeah.
You know, if I see it in a rich person's house, I'm gonna automatically think it's real. I'm not gonna go and tap on it, you know, or scrape it or get a magnifying glass and see, is this real? You know, I'm gonna think that anyway. So, you know, why do that? You know what I mean? And so a lot of times they say that poor people stay poor because they try to live like they're rich, and rich people stay rich because they live like they're poor. You know, and so being able to get out of that mindset that you have to spend. You know, one of the things that I've learned psychologically, a lot of times people have associated feeling good or happiness with spending. And so in order to feel good or happy, they spend. And so they'll go out and buy things they already have, or they'll go out and just spend money because they have it. And a lot of times they don't really understand. That's go back to that knowledge thing about renewing the mind, you know, because a lot of times, you know, we do things that, you know, habitually that we do them, not realizing or thinking about what we're actually doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I just got to telling one of my friends the same thing because he was congratulating me on what I was doing. This happened like a couple days ago. He was congratulating me, just saying, "Yeah, man, you're doing real good. You the man." I'm like, "Dude, bro, you could do better than me." And he was like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Bro, you got a lot. Your footprint is bigger than mine. It's just you buy a lot of frivolous stuff. like I got a bunch of responsibility that I got to handle, and you single. I'm a married man with a bunch of kids, and you single. You mean to tell me that you can't? You can easily do what I'm doing.
Right.
You can catch up with me. Like, dude, you a single dude, and we're about the same age. If you started off right now and put your mind in order." And he was like, "What?" I'm like, "All you gotta do is put your mind in order." I the one thing that I was real big on, I said, it doesn't matter about your income. Put your mind in order. It don't matter how smart you are. Put your mind in order. Why? I'm like, because once your mind is in order, everything else falls in line. When Solomon said, "Hey, I just want to have knowledge to be able, or wisdom to be able to lead your people in this time of need." When you have knowledge, when you have the wisdom, right? Because you got the knowledge, and then God, you have knowledge, and then you get your wisdom. Cool. Now you got an understanding. Even better. Now you're better at assisting other people, and now you're better at understanding how your money is coming in. And you can get anything else you want if you got the knowledge on how to get it.
Right.
And this is way beyond just teaching the man how to fish and then you'll feed him for a lifetime. I'm talking about if you actually know how to fish, you will look for the person who wants to know how to fish, and you'll look for the person who don't want to know how to fish. They just want to do the job.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're teaching those who want to fish how to fish, and then those who just want to fish, you're making a profit off of them just doing the job.
Mm-hmm.
Good, because not everybody is built to succeed. Not everybody is built to grind. Not everybody is built to hustle. And some people can talk a good game, but they actually just want a job. Don't worry, I got a job for you. Some people want the lifestyle. Some people like, I'm willing to live for this. I want to grind this out and I want to be successful. Cool. I got something for you to do as well. And too oftentimes we just downplay that and say, "Oh, they just trying to be rich." I'm not trying to be rich. I'm trying to be knowledgeable and execute in my knowledge.
Right.
This is where God showed me I need to be. I'm trying to execute in this one area.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was talking to my cousin earlier today, I was telling him the same thing. If you put me in other arenas, I may not be as good. It's only because I'm doing the one thing that I'm passionate about. And if everyone else was like, "I'm passionate about this," and that's all you did, and God told you, because you're passionate about this, you're going to move here. I mean, those are the things that drives everybody.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan wasn't a business billionaire. No, he was a basketball player. It was just his heart for the game, his passion for the game was so electrifying that people tuned in and was like, "Dude, what is this guy doing?" His endorsements came because he was so tuned in. He was so passionate about the game. He wanted to play it so heavily that he's so tuned in. The same thing is true about Kobe Bryant. When you look at how passionate these people are, like Tiger Woods, he broke the whole mold when he came out there and he played golf, and then he got done. He did the whole Masters tournament, and he said that wasn't even my A game. He broke everything that they was doing, and they was like, "Well, how was he being so snooty?" And he was like, "I'm not being snooty. I know how good I am, and this wasn't my A game."
Right.
And then he went on to prove what his A game looks like.
Okay. Yeah.
Because he was a master of his craft. And I think that's the big thing that everybody got to take away, that to be a master of your craft, to grind it out. And not everybody will make it.
Yeah, but that's the thing there. You talked about earlier having that mind discipline, being able to how did you say it when you said to the guy had to get his mind in order?
Yeah, you gotta get your mind. You gotta get your mind. No, you gotta discipline yourself. You gotta discipline your mind.
Yeah.
Or get your mind disciplined.
And so that's the part that a lot of people have challenges with, because they've been so used to, just be it all over the place, and they don't realize sometimes they look at the little that they have and they feel like, because it's just a little, it's never going to be able to do anything. And so they allow the little to just slip away frivolously and not realize that little can become a lot if you discipline your mind. And just like you said, the guy was the same age that you were, but he was doing whatever it is that he wanted to do. But if he would just, discipline his mind and it begin to grind out, he could be where you are or beyond where you are. Yeah. And oftentimes I think when people look at other people, that's part of the problem, because you don't know what that person go through or has done to get where they are. And if you're not careful, you'll try to measure yourself where you are against where they are. And they might have, 20 years with the company, and you might just be starting out. And so it's important that we, when you talk about taking a little bit or making small steps or small adjustments, that's so crucial when it comes to building wealth. Yes. And so this is our Financial Fridays. We're talking about rising out of a financial slump and thriving in the financial freedom. Financial freedom is what it's all about. And anybody can have financial freedom, but you got to start where you are. And you got to be willing to make those small adjustments, and you have to be patient. And over time, you will be able to see your finances grow to a place where you have financial freedom.
Yes. Yeah. And that's for everybody.
That's for everybody.
That's for everybody.
And one of the things that we have to understand, even though we'll put it out there, the Bible says in where does that at? Somewhere in one of the Peters, where he says that it is not God's will that any should perish, but all that will come into repentance. And so we know, based on that scripture, that it is the will of God for everyone to be saved. And yet we know that everyone is not going to be saved. And it's not because God wants to send somebody to hell. I think in Ezekiel, I want to say 33:11, somewhere in there, he talked about where God says, I don't want to see nobody go to hell, and so, but we know it's God's will for everybody to be saved, but we know everybody's not willing to do what it takes to be saved. You know what I mean? Even though salvation was purchased for free, and it's a decision that we have to make in a discipline to a lifestyle, everybody's not going to do what it takes in order to be saved. And so in that same sense, financial freedom is available for everyone. However, you have to be willing to do what's necessary in order to have that freedom. And it's not big things, it's small adjustments, small adjustments, small adjustments.
Yes, it's always the small adjustments. And people are like, what do you mean? I'm like, if I can teach you to make the small answer correct every time, we don't got to worry about any big decisions. Why? Because you're not even going to see the bad decisions. If all you know is I need to save this amount of money, I'm going to give this to God, I'm going to put this away for my taxes. If that's all you know how hard it is for you to be like, I'm going to defraud God. No, because you're going to do what you know. You make these small decisions every single day. The whole idea of giving offering, you already doing that. There is no stopping. You already doing these small decisions. So now you get to the end of the year and somebody be like, and then you look at what your church offering, the list. Okay, cool. I gave this much. That's going to line up to what you know. I gave more than 10%. Yes, you did, because it was these small steps of what you did. Oh, cool. I got money set aside for taxes. Look, I got all my taxes taken care of. Why? Because you did it every single time you got paid. This money was already been saved up. Okay, cool. My savings look bigger. I don't know how I'm making all this money in my savings. Easy. Because you're not looking at, I'm going to put $5,000 at the end of the year. Nope. I'm going to put $50. And now I'm going to put 100 because I got a little bit more. I'm going to put 100. And there's these small things. And then you get to the end of the year and you got all this extra money that you was accounting for, but now you're seeing it. And then come next year, it's like blowing your taxes. Oh, cool, I got some money coming back. What you gonna do with it? I'm gonna put it to the side. Just put it right. I'm gonna put it right here, and that's my new emergency fund.
Right.
Now you don't have to fight for it. Now you already got a new emergency fund. Now you got another savings account. And you're moving way faster than what you think you can handle. It's just these small adjustments. Right. And think about it. I did 3 small adjustments. I made sure God was being given. I made sure that the taxes was being put to the side. I made sure my savings was being assigned. Right? These 3 assignments. I didn't say nothing about spending money on what you wanted, what you didn't want, the lifestyle you trying to lead, the lifestyle you don't want. None of those things. You just putting these small assignments. It's like the kid who never did drugs. How you never do drugs? Easy. I made small decisions. I don't want to hang out with this group of people that always do drugs. I don't want to be around somebody that smoke. And then eventually you make these small adjustments, small assignments, and now you get to the age of 45 and you like, yeah, I don't really drink. You mean you don't drink? No, it never came across. That's not something I do. Why? Because it's the small decisions that make these big decisions. Peer pressure. If you never drunk in your life and you had a good reason why you didn't drink, and now you get to the point where you're going to be 45 and get peer pressure, less likely. Why? Because I made that decision back when I was 8. I made that decision back when I was 15. I made that decision back when I was 21. I made that same decision back when I was in my 30s. You think I'm going to hit 45 and then get peer pressure? What is happening? Yeah. It's just the small decisions is what makes everything else easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just gave a great formula. I wrote that down. God first. Secondly, put money aside for I didn't put a name on it, but I'll put money aside for responsibilities, I can say.
Yeah, you can say responsibilities.
And number 3, you said save.
Save, yeah. That's how I got started. When I talk about the formula, people ask like, "What'd you do first?" I'm like, me having an emergency fund was like, I want to say it was when I first started. Mm-hmm. Now the formula was out there, but I made it look more lively. Like you put a lot of stuff to make it look more lively. But when I first started, it was God first, then myself, okay, then the country. And people were like, well, I'm like that was part of the original, because I was spending money and I was like, man, how am I always running out of more? I got more a month than I do check, because I was in that position. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, let me make sure God got his. God gotta get his. All right, cool. Okay, cool. I gotta get mine. I gotta get mine. All right, Uncle Sam gonna get his whenever he get his. All right. He can take it straight out anyway. He gonna take it straight out anyway. I don't gotta worry about Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam got his. So the 2 people I gotta worry about is God and myself. And that's how I started. Boom, boom, boom. And then even though I had a formula, the focus was how much I got going out, how much I got coming in. Cool. God got his, I got mine.
Right.
Uncle Sam gonna get his whenever he get it because he gonna take it out the paycheck anyway.
Mm-hmm.
For everybody who work a job, Uncle Sam gonna get his. You don't gotta argue. You don't gotta appeal it. Uncle Sam gonna get their taxes. Don't even worry about it. And then you be like, okay, so God got his, I got mine. And then how does this other stuff look? Well, what do I need? Well, I need to be able to live. I need to be able to accelerate my dad. I need to see, and then that forms, like it just forms. And then you start making, okay, cool. Now I'm moving.
Mm-hmm.
But savings is very important.
Yeah.
And when I said savings, remember when savings got sliced up into other things, but like your emergency fund was your savings. Like when I first started, my emergency fund was my savings. It was because I was like, okay, I'm saving this money, but just in case something happened, I got to make sure that I got enough. In case I get myself fired, I got to make sure I got enough. Just in case I break another car. Shouts out to all my family members that know how many cars I destroyed, but just in case I destroy another car, I gotta buy another car. Like I was in the mode of knowing that I needed it.
Okay.
It wasn't a maybe. It was like, no, I need this.
Okay.
I'm very reckless. I was doing a lot. I know I needed it. But then my savings account got really big. When I say really big, I mean it was nice. It was a nice, good chunk. Cool. Now I could slice it. Boom. That's my emergency fund. I got that off in the side. And that was one of my first money market accounts, was having an emergency fund. It got big. I stopped doing a bunch of reckless nonsense. It got big enough. Boom. Money market account. I didn't even look at it. It was just collecting, I think, 3 to 4% interest. Okay. And it was just collecting money, which I think is a good thing. All right. Being able to move money to the side and not focus on it, right. It don't burn a hole in your pocket. Okay, cool. Is that a bank? It may not be making all the interest that I want to make, but it's stable and I know it's making something.
Right.
And now I got my emergency fund. Okay, I got the emergency fund. I got my savings, and I was able to start building everything in just into that lineage. Mm-hmm. And then that's when I was like, hey guys, cool, we're gonna be at 40%. Why? Because I was already saving.
Okay.
It wasn't me saving money, was already there. Me making money was already there.
Right.
So that's why I'm really big on people saying you got to know what you got. You got to know what you got. Why? Because these are foundationals. And I always laugh when I say that, because some people don't understand like how foundational it is to be financially stable. Like it's a really good feeling, especially when you got a bunch of money in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
You come up short one every 2 weeks, because I get paid every 2 weeks. So you come up short a little bit. Man, I got that. You try to be all cool about it. No, I got that. You lean back, get a couple extra dollars, slide it on over like it's nothing. I mean, it actually it's a really good feeling to have when something does happen and you got it.
Yeah.
I'm not scared. I know I got that.
Yeah. No anxiety, Yeah.
Yeah,
And really, in all honesty, having wealth is a rite of passage. When you mentioned the word legacy earlier, training our one of our first responsibilities, after training our children about God, is training them about building wealth, helping them to understand the value of money, how to be responsible with it. And that's one thing many of us did not get coming up. And it takes us later in life to really, after a bunch of, whatever failures or, whatever, wasted or, whatever label you want to put on it, before we begin to actually learn the importance of money management. And I think that, some people think that's, like a luxury, but in actuality, it's a rite of passage. That everyone have a right to have wealth. Everyone have a right to be able to pay their bills. Everyone have a right to be able to live a life where they're free from anxiety when it comes to the basic essentials of life and things that money can buy. You know, there are some things, of course, money can't buy. You know, somebody said people who say money can't buy everything haven't had enough money yet. But so I don't have that much money. But I still, and so I don't know how much money it's going to take before I get to that place where I believe that, you know.
No, but the caveat that is that it's not everybody that doesn't know this, because there's a lot of people in a lot of cultures, right? Look at your sword makers. A lot of your sword makers that are hand sword makers, daddy taught son how to make it because grandpa taught daddy how to make the sword. So now you got, and when we say daddy taught son, we're not saying son was 10. We saying when grandpa taught daddy, daddy was 10. When daddy taught son, son was 10. And the same thing is true when you talk about being an expert in any field. There's other cultures and they teach this as a kid. And when I found out about it, I started doing the same thing to my kids. Hey kids, these are my money woes. This is what I'm going through. This is what I'm trying. Because what I found out is my kids, they can't improve my income. They can't decrease my income. They're my children. But if I just pour out to them and say, hey, this is what I'm looking to do, they can truly hold up hope for me. The kids have this desire to just be kids. So if you paint a picture and say, hey, this is what God is telling me I need to do, kids can be like, yo, dad, is that what God told you? Right. They hold you accountable to the vision that you gave them. So when you talk about your money woes, like I talk about my money woes, my kids are listening like, okay, my dad said that didn't work for him. This is what he's going to try next. And then I tried. I'm like, okay, that worked. My kids are picking up on this. Like, okay, my dad is telling us that we need to make this amount of money so we can be safe.
Right.
And when I'm talking about basics, like you need to have money just to be safe in life. People don't understand just how much stress not having enough can cause you. Yeah. But I'm telling my kids that, hey, if we don't have enough money, trust me, your dad gonna be out here sweating. Okay. I ain't never thought about getting 3 jobs, but guess what? If I have to, I'm gonna get 3 jobs to make sure I'm providing for everybody, right? Because I'm letting my kids know, like, we need to have income coming in order to have a lot of things that are going on.
Sure.
And it helps us when we go help out other families or when we go participate or volunteer. They know it may be a good family. They may have good morals, but they may not have good financial understanding. And unfortunately, just because you have good morals, it doesn't mean that your finances are going to align themselves.
Oh, yeah.
You got to have good morals to make sure you have good integrity, to make sure you have a good character, but you also got to have good financial understanding so you can position yourself correctly in life, so you can have a good financial, so you could become financially stable. I mean, these align themselves.
Yeah, I mean, we see that all the time. Even you have college professors that don't know how to balance a checkbook. They've been educated in a certain field, but growing up in school, unless you go in as a accountant major, they don't teach you how to handle money. Financial literacy. They teach you how to count, but they don't teach you how to, have financial literacy. Listen, man, we blew through some time. We got about 20 minutes left. So we're talking about rising from our financial slump, thriving to financial freedom. It's all about financial freedom.
Yes.
So we talked about the importance of vision. We talked about, the importance of having knowledge as far as where you want to go. We talked about the importance of assigning your time as far as time management goes. And we were just talking about the importance of savings.
Yes.
And so how we want to close out the show today.
Easy. I got an easy one.
Okay.
If everybody's taking notes, remember, first and foremost, write your vision, make it plain, put it on a board, put it inside a mantra, say it to yourself, make sure you know it. So when someone asks you, you know it. When your kids Talk about it. You can tell them, because every vision is universal. There. When I say universal, I'm not talking about it's for you. It's generational. So every vision you have is able to be passed down. Hey, kids, this is what I'm doing. So make sure you have that in order. Knowledge is the best thing and the best way for us to ever do anything. So you got to be able to move knowledge from one place to another.
Yeah.
Time management. There you go. Pathway to Possibilities. Yeah, there you go. Pastor got it up.
Is up there.
Pathway to Possibilities is a phenomenal book for you to be able to write your vision down, for you to look at your vision constantly, for you to educate yourself on how to make goals in your vision. I know. I read the book, wrote it down, came back, put it inside my electric journal, because I am big on passing my knowledge to my children. Not forcing it down their face, but letting them know, like, hey, I have this for you. And those who want it, want it. Those who don't, don't.
Yeah.
Moving beyond that is time management. You don't go anywhere in life without time management. If you look at anybody who's high level, or look at anybody who's actively successful, you will see that their time is very managed. They typically have somebody like, hey, sir, we got to be here. Hey, we got this stuff going on. Hey, we doing this. Hey, we going this place. I can tell you from personal experience, my time is highly managed. I got to put in time to spend time with my kids. I got to put in time to go to sleep. I got to put in time to see my wife. I got to put in all of this time. And if you think that's excessive, well, that's okay. But my time is managed because of the fact that I'm doing so much. I do have free time, but free time is managed. Okay, I got 4 hours here. Okay, cool. I got 2 hours here. Okay, cool. I got 5 hours inside of this week. Okay, cool. And I utilize that to make sure that I'm meeting up with my guys. I'm clearing myself. I'm taking my sanity breaks. I'm eating my food. I'm having a good time. The last one is savings. When I talk about savings, when I originally talked about the formula was geared towards just putting you in right perspective. Your savings, the way you save, assigning the savings, put you in right perspective. It doesn't give you all the answers. It puts you in right perspective, because when you start thinking about your money, you start putting your money in order. If you just knew where your perspective was, I need to hit this amount, you can do that. And this is the best segue. So with that being said, we have a fathers and son brunch coming up.
You just jumped right in there.
That was the best segue. Because everything is about building a legacy and a vision. So while the flyer is getting ready to be put on the screen, I'm telling you that we have the Hidden Father Figures is a brunch coming up this Saturday. So if you're taking notes, like I hope you are, Saturday, June 15th from 11 to 1 p.m. is going to be Father and Son brunch. I will definitely be there. I'm Pastor going to be there. My father going to be there. My father going to be there. My mentor, I'm going to try to get him there. I got a big brother from out of town. I got a younger brother out of town. I'm trying to get everybody there so we can be on the same page, because collaboration and sharing is how we pass it from ourselves to our children.
Okay. All right. Awesome. The Hidden Father Figures. I like that. Father and Son brunch. All right. Well, very good. Very good. Well, listen, thank you again for tuning in to our Rise and Thrive. This has been a good show. And I think those are some practical steps that a person can use. They start with their vision, and then, being able to write that down. You got to take time to think about what that looks like. And then renewing your mind is probably the most challenging part, but you got to renew your mind. For me, reading renews my mind. When I read, it pushes things out and allows things to come in. And so that's very important, that you find a way to renew your mind. And I don't know how far we're going to get on Sunday, but when we start talking about, the importance of receiving God's word, and it's the same thing if I say the importance of receiving knowledge, how important that is. But understanding that you can do it, you just have to be able, listen, doing the same thing that you've been doing is going to give you the same results that you've been getting. And so if you renew your mind, it can take what you're doing to a higher level, whether you at the bottom, in the middle, or the top. But you got to renew your mind. And then, of course, time management is important because, even the Bible says that we have to be, we have to redeem the time. And so it's important that we not just allow our time to just be wasted. And then saving is going to be a product of your, knowledge that you have. When you renew your mind on the knowledge, part of that is that why. A lot of times we have to identify what's the why. Why should I save? Why is it important that I have money? Why is it important that I have a emergency fund? And when we answer that question, then it makes us easier for us to do. One of the things I talked about before, is that our behavior follows our knowledge. The behavior, our behavior, our behavior follows our belief. Our behavior follows our belief. Okay. So you want to know what a person believes, just look at their behavior. And so if you want to change your behavior, you got to change your belief. All right. So I see she put a link in the chat for you to sign up for the father and son brunch. Listen, on the 25th, I believe it is, we're going to have another one of our entrepreneur workshops. And this one is going to be really good. All of it has been really good, to be honest with you. This one is going to be very important and very helpful for many of you all, because this one is going to be about digital marketing strategy. And we have someone who's going to be coming in. I don't want to mess up her name right now. I almost need to see it in order to mess it up. But she's going to be coming, and she is definitely the person for this. Enlisted her for this workshop. I said, you know what? Not only do I need her to do this workshop, I said I'm going to need you for Jericho to help Jericho as well, be able to come up with a marketing plan. And so she's very phenomenal. Got a resume that supports her ability to do this. And we're going to be, now I don't know how to put this, and so I don't want nobody to get it messed up. So James, you have to help me with this one. All right,
I got you.
So for those of you who have been attending the workshops thus far, what did I just say, James?
For those of us who have been coming to these workshops,
the price is $25.
The price. Okay, yeah, I'm with that. Yeah, price.
So you're grandfathered in. However, we're taking it up a notch. And so we're going to be raising the price. And I was trying to confirm it before this broadcast, but I didn't get it confirmed. But I believe the price is going to be $125 for the workshop. And so we're taking the workshop up a notch. It's already been, a $1,500 workshop. I've been to $1,500 classes that I spent, and so I know the quality that we're having. But now we're taking it up a notch. We're bringing in some higher level talent, and you can't get no higher than what we've been bringing in, right? We've been bringing in the best of the best, and so we're taking it up a notch. And those of you who have supported it thus far, you'll be grandfathered in, where you will be able to still pay what you've been paying. And then we're getting ready to take this thing up a whole nother level as we get ready for the expo. And so be on the lookout. You can go to Dr. A.D. Burns, dradburns.com/events to register. And that's Saturday, May 25th from 9 to 3. Is going to be at Jericho Church Without Walls. And we're going to be retuning it. We're going to put a new name on it. We're working on a new name and everything. because we get ready to take this thing up a notch. And our goal is, it was almost like a pilot, a test pilot for us. And now that we see that it's very valuable, we want to be able now to market this to people across the states of Wisconsin and probably even Illinois and Minnesota. And so it's definitely something worth flying into. And so, we kind of wanted to get all the kinks and things out. And so those of you who supported us in the beginning, you're going to be, blessed. You grandfathered in for this year, and then we'll see what happens on next year. But you definitely want to be a part of this workshop. And if you've really been trying to figure out marketing strategies, a lot of times we do a lot of things we know or we see people do, but not necessarily be getting the results that we need. And so this one is going to be about getting the results that you need. And so we got a digital marketing strategy workshop, and it's going to be about getting results. And so I am super excited about this. And I'm so excited that, yeah. All right. Amen.
Yes. I like that.
Now, one of these clocks is wrong. Which one? Okay. This right here is wrong. So it's 8:32. It's 8:32. And so we 2 minutes over our time. And so, Brother James, Brother Minister James, what's your closing comments?
Focus, build your legacy, and get it done. Trust me. Pastor's here. I'm here. We're here to help, and we're here to see you as you grind it out.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We're definitely here because we want to see you successful. We want to see you financial free, so that you can live the life that you want to live. And, he gave us the order. It's God first. So we're not encouraging you to be able to build you up so you can go apart from God. God comes first. And so that's so important that we get the order right. And then being responsible and putting aside the funds that we need to take care of our responsibilities, and then building that savings to the place where we can begin to divide it up and create our emergency funds, and then begin to be able to save for your vacation or other things, but have multiple savings within your savings that you'll be able to experience financial freedom. There's nothing like being able to, pull the trigger when you got to pull the trigger without really have to think about it. The only regret you will have when pulling the trigger is not wanting to pull the trigger. not because you don't have it. It's just because you don't want to pull it for that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, thank you again for tuning in to Financial Fridays. I pray that the knowledge and information that we're sharing with you is helping you to climb out of a financial slump and experience a thriving financial freedom. No matter where you are on the scale, whether you're at the bottom coming up, at the middle going higher, or at the top going even higher, the financial freedom and financial literacy is important for you. And so I believe we have hit on each one of those levels. And so, listen, there's no way, the only way that let me just say it like this. The only person stopping you is you. We out of here. We'll see you on next week on Financial Fridays. Be blessed. Peace. My grandma to do it like this. She'd be like,